Hey guys, welcome back to 2-Minute Coder. Today we're doing Leetcode problem 143, which is reorder list. So just take a moment to pause the video and read the question. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to first find a midpoint, then split after that midpoint, reverse the second half, and then merge both halves. Alright, so if we want to find a midpoint of a linked list, all we have to do is initialize a fast and slow pointer, both to head, and while fast is not null and fast.next is not null, we are going to increment fast twice and slow once, right? Now we're going to have to split after the midpoint. Now, if we look at example 2, we know that slow is going to point to 3, right? So we want to split at where this 3 is pointing to. So instead of 3 pointing to 4, it's going to have to point to a null value, right? So let's first get the start of our second half as list node second and set it to slow.next. Then let's set slow.next to null because slow is currently at 3, so the pointer of this third node is going to point to null, but we're going to store the start of our second half in this list node called second. All right, and because we want to reverse this second half, let's also initialize a previous value and let's set it to null at the start. Right, so we have already we've already reversed linked list before, so you guys should be familiar with it. So while second is not null, we're going to store in a temporary value our second.next, then point the second.next to our previous value, and move this previous value up to our current value, and our current value we're going to increment to this temporary value which stores second.next, right? Now when it comes to merging both halves, we have to find start points of both of our lists, right? Now that we've split our list, 1, 2, 3 is going to be the first half, 4 and 5 is going to be the second half. So the start of our first list is just going to be at head, right? So let's initialize that. And the start of our second half is actually going to be previous, because in this while loop, second is going to go past 5, and that's when this loop will terminate, because second is going to become null, right? But once that happens, we know that previous is going to be set to 1 behind second, right? So previous actually is going to be the start of the second half, right? So let's set that. And now for merging, while second is not null, let's store our next values in temporary list nodes called first next. So this is just going to store first.next, and second next is going to store second.next. All right, and now to merge. So we know that we have to go 1, 5, 2, 4, and then 3, right? So if you see the first half of our list, we are traversing from left to right, and in the second half of our list, we're traversing from right to left. That's why I reversed the second half, right? Because for a linked list, you can't, like a for loop, how you go from right to left by just decrementing the pointer, you can't do that in a linked list. So you actually have to reverse the pointers. That's what we did here. Right? So this first node, which is at 1, is going to be pointing to 5, right? So first.next is going to point to 5, which is stored in this second list node, right? Similarly, 5 is going to point to 2, which is stored in first next, right? Now that that's done, we are going to move our pointer from 1 to 2 and from 5 to 4, because again, 2 is going to point to 4, and then 4 is going to point to 3, right? So first is going to equal first next, and second is going to equal second next. And let's submit this. So we've already initialized this second list node, so we actually don't need to initialize it again. We can just use it as is. All right, great. So that was Leetcode problem 143. Hope you guys understood, and subscribe for more.